How are you?
Good. How have you been doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Not much has developed, just got through Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So.
Did you have a good holiday?
I did. It was good. Mostly spent it with my mom and her side of the family, but it was great to hang out with the family. I always love that, getting a break from school. So.
Yeah, that's always fun. Must have been nice to have that stress reliever.
Oh, it was a big stress reliever, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
So, before we dive in, I'm just going to remind you real quickly that everything that's said in here is confidential. You signed the informed consent release, and just to briefly touch up, all that means is that I'm not going to say anything to anybody unless you're subpoenaed by the court, if the court makes me, or all those reasons we spoke about last week. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
Okay, we're still on the same page. Alright, well, what I'd like to do is last week, you briefly touched at the end of our session about how Christmas was a huge stress in your life. How are things going with that? Did Thanksgiving kind of relieve some of that, or where are you at with that right now?
Well, the biggest reason I think that, Thanksgiving's just kind of stressful because my parents are divorced, and so it's kind of hard to coordinate between all the families. And then I have two brothers who they have their own families too, so we just have a lot to work with, and my dad has kind of been driving me crazy, honestly, a bit lately, and Thanksgiving was kind of crazy because usually I try to spend some with my mom, some with my dad, and I didn't see my dad the whole Thanksgiving break, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he upset about that?
No, and that's what's kind of weird is because my dad's been married and divorced twice, and so, but he's dating another woman, and they seem pretty serious, I guess, and it kind of feels like he might kind of conforms to who he's dating, because she has a son who lives in Texas, but she never really sees him, and she doesn't really help him out with financially, that kind of stuff, and honestly she doesn't really know that much going on about him, because she didn't even know what high school he went to, the name of it.
Wow.
Yeah, and so my dad was always really involved, when he was dating his second, or married to his second wife, because she was overly involved in her son's life.
Yeah.
And helped him out with everything, called him every day. So that's what I'm used to. And now he I called him the day before Thanksgiving because I hadn't heard anything about plans, and I was like, what's going on with Thanksgiving? Do you have any plans? And he's like, well, I'm going with her and her family. And I was like, okay. That's kind of where it ended, and that's the last time I talked to him. I didn't even talk to him on Thanksgiving, and haven't talked to him since, so.
How did that make you feel? Were you upset?
It was just one of those it wasn't I wasn't mad, but I don't know, I wasn't sad even. It was just one of those really,
Did you feel a little forgotten? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
A little bit forgotten, maybe he didn't really care too much, because it's just weird because a year ago my father would have been calling me 3 times a week, wanting to talk on the phone for 40 minutes at a time, and now literally before Thanksgiving break, that phone call I made to him, I hadn't spoken to him in probably a month and a half. And I was the one that branched out that time. So I've kind of just given up, because he really just doesn't seem to be at all involved in any, not just my life, my brother and sister said that they hardly hear from them ever too. And they live in the same town as him. I at least live 2 hours away, so.
It must be hard.
Yeah, it's just, it's frustrating.
But you said you're not hurt over it? It really doesn't hurt you? Or?
I mean, it does. It's not it's kind of just frustrating. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of contradicting, because I'm whenever he was overly involved, it was kind of annoying and obnoxious and just let us be. And now he's not involved at all. Yeah. So it's
you want that middle ground.
Yeah, I think so. And so I don't know really what to think about it. I don't know, I do feel I just feel he doesn't care, and so it's a little frustrating, a little hurtful, but I'm not mad or sad about it necessarily. I wouldn't say I feel that strongly about it. It's just.
You don't feel that strongly about your dad not being involved in your life?
Well, I don't know. It's just, I guess it does kind of make me mad. I'm not sad's not really the word. It's just more like, now we did nothing over Thanksgiving, which that's up to him. But like for
Why is that up to
Christmas,
him?
I mean, there's all of us kids. I just don't know. Like, I feel like he should have been the one that said, "Hey guys, do you want to do Thanksgiving dinner?" Like, I don't really know my role with him, like at all. Like I don't feel like it's me being the youngest child. I don't think it's my position to say, "Hey, we're gonna have Thanksgiving dinner at 7 p.m. on Thanksgiving
Well,
evening."
yeah.
I just don't feel like that's my part. And I realize he has his own life too, but I just don't know like where I stand with him. It's kind of weird.
Do you think maybe it would have been better if y'all would have talked about it 2 weeks or so before Thanksgiving, and maybe one of y'all would have called the other one and been like, hey, what's the plan? Maybe if you would have just known beforehand that he was planning on going with her, what's her name?
Susanna. Mm-hmm.
That he was planning on going with her, would that have made it better? Or, I mean, are you wishing that he would have talked to you about it before he just didn't
I think
come?
maybe I was just being a little stubborn and just being like, well, he never calls anymore, so I guess I'll just find out when I find out. And I do think it probably would have been a little more helpful to know.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like now I have like I said, I have no idea about like Christmas at all, and so it's like as me the one in college, trying to get through finals week. I just like, is it my job to like call and be like, okay, this is what we're doing for Christmas, since we did absolutely nothing for Thanksgiving? Because it's me, 3 siblings who 2 are married and 1 has children, and so it's not just me and my dad, it's me and 9 other people and my dad and his girlfriend and possibly my dad's parents.
So, do you think that it would have been at all possible that maybe he picked up on the fact that it was annoying you how involved he was in your life, and maybe he was just trying to take a step back and kind of let you, I mean, do you think that's at all possible, that maybe he just got that hint from maybe your actions or your behavior, or not that it means that was bad, but just you expressed that it was irritating to you, so
yeah,
maybe he picked up on that and didn't want to bug you.
yeah, and totally he might have completely done that. It just seems like he went from so far like one extreme to the other that it just kind of like he tried to maybe take a step back, but he took like 5 steps back. That's kind of how it feels. So.
Well, I think that just your concern in general is a good thing. I mean, it does show how much you care about your father, and it is very good that you are concerned. But maybe what you should be doing, instead of waiting for him to call and being stubborn about it, and that's your words. If you'd like to change your word, that's fine. But you said that you were being stubborn, so maybe it would be better if you picked up the phone and called him and asked. That could be your role, just to ask what's going on, not necessarily to make the plan, but to go ahead and get the idea and the ball rolling.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's all I can do is, try to reach out to him. I don't think call. I just don't know if any plans will get made. If he's not really the type to like make a lot of plans, but I guess if I just keep asking, he won't have any choice but to kind of start making plans.
Well, I think that'll get him thinking about
right,
it at
get
least,
the idea,
so that it won't be, it won't be a shock when
right.
it comes.
Yeah, I think I could. That's something that maybe for Christmas, or maybe even start now.
Yeah, I mean, you could call him, later today and be like, hey, what do you think is going to go on for Christmas? So you start making plans.
Yeah, I think that's something I could definitely work towards.
But I think that concern for your family and that concern to make sure that everybody's plans get worked out and that everybody's involved, and that desire to have everybody involved, I think that's a wonderful thing that most people, don't even have. And I think that just the fact that you have so many people that want to be involved in your life, I know that's stressful and that's hard for you, but I think at the same time you have to look at how blessed you are to have that many people in your life that care about you and want to find a way to make plans with you.
Yeah.
because I know a bunch of people, may not have that.
For sure. I definitely am. I definitely do feel blessed that I do have such a close family. It's just, I mean, I think that's probably why it's so frustrating because we're used to being close, and
Yeah.
Dad's just been pretty distant lately. So.
He has been distant?
Well, just like the not communicating with anyone and always going with her, So I mean, that's what I mean. Not like geographically distant, but just like he doesn't really call. That's what I mean. Like he used to be really close in that sense, but I think, I guess just if I did call him maybe this week just to say, like you said, hey, what's up with Christmas? I think that could get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I think, maybe not today, but maybe sometime in this week that could be, I know that you're busy, I know that you're in school, but I think that if you're open to it and you're willing to it, that could be a goal that you make to go ahead and call him and start getting the ball rolling and the ideas going so that something can get worked out. And honestly, I think that you should express to him that if this is how you feel, I think it's important for you to tell him, hey, I don't know what's going on, I feel as if you kind of stepped back a little bit, and talk to him about it. Maybe something I did, I'd really like you in my life more. That's definitely something that could be discussed with him,
No, I completely agree. I think it's something a talk that me and him need to have.
Yeah. So, what do you think's gonna happen over Christmas? Like in an ideal world, what would happen?
I would just like, I have every year with the same traditions with my mom's family, and those have been the same traditions I've had since I was a little girl. So they're set in stone. I know what I'm doing. But with Dad's, because we did all those with my mom's side, I feel like plans are never just like set in stone. So for me, like the best possible like holiday would be just like we have like a plan. I'm a planner if you can't tell, and so just like so if I knew that Christmas Eve was with Mom's family, Christmas was with my siblings, maybe Christmas night was with if I just had like, if I know ahead this is the date, have some plans, like sometimes we play like the Dirty Santa game, like if that's what we're doing or if we're not I just want to know way in advance. And I think just communicating with my dad, I think about that and about him and I possibly even before the holidays kind of sort out a relationship would be the ideal like situation for me, just because I don't want any more stress during the holidays. So
and a bunch of people get stressed out during the holidays. That's not it's not uncommon. So you told me what in an ideal world it would look like. So what are you gonna do to get there? What are you gonna do to try and make that happen? It sounds very plausible. It really does. It sounds attainable. Just having a plan. Sounds like you're not that concerned about what the plan is.
Right.
As long as you know the plan.
Right.
And maybe you can even express that to everybody.
Yeah, I think like the best way to go about it is like you said, or we talked about earlier, like my goal would probably be this week to kind of just give him a call, even if it's not completely about Christmas. It's just to kind of see how things are, maybe just get the idea of Christmas, just kind of get out of my stubborn ways and just be the one to pick up the phone.
I think that could help a lot.
Yeah.
Just calling to chat.
Yeah.
I think it's very possible that maybe if he was calling you, like you said, 3 times a week a year from now, maybe he got tired of being the one making all the phone calls and he felt like he wasn't intruding on your life.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel that even just calling to say, hey, how are you, would be a very good step.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to start getting all this going, and then talking to my siblings as well. And that's probably all I can do for right now. So a good way to get started.
Yeah. So I hope that next week when you come in, I want to try to make the holidays less stressful for you. I know that stress is normal, especially around the holidays. But I really think that just having the plan will take a lot of that stress off of you. And so what I would really, really love would be for you to come in next week and have at least spoken to your dad and maybe got that idea rolling so that way plans can be made. I mean, you told me you have a very close family, and I think that being that your family is so close, it is going to be important to everybody. That time is spent with everyone, and I think that everyone will understand that as large as your family is, for that to happen, there has to be a plan.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very crucial step in this process. And, you know, like I said, you're very lucky to have so many people that are wanting to spend time with you so much that it is such a big deal to everybody. That's very special. And I really just think that just kind of talking to everybody and formulating that plan will really ease things into a better transition for the holidays.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that. So.
Right. Well, do you want to leave it at that and come back next week and see how things go?
Yeah, I'll try to talk to my dad for the next time we talk, and then I guess we can go from there.
Alright, well that sounds really good.
Alright, well thank you so much.
Thank you so much.